Now we move to the second presentation, and that is Bart Geerts from EyeOn. Bart, yes. Welcome. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes. I will change my background from the kids room.
Yeah.
Something a bit more professional.
Yeah, that's very authentic. Yes. Bart, yeah, I wanted to ask, where are you? But like geographically speaking, where in the country are you?
Near Tilburg in Berkel and Schop.
Okay, and what is the castle in the background?
Yeah, that's our office in Aale-Rixtel. That's our let's say our headquarters, and this is Croy Castle, and we have the privilege to use 2 of the 3 floors there as our office.
Okay. And you give a presentation now to, I believe, between 70 and 120 students. I don't know the exact number real time, but is there anything we need to know, your role, or will you share slides?
Yes. I will share some slides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the digital.
You can see them now.
Yeah, and the digital floor is yours, Bart.
That's great. Thanks. Yeah, as mentioned, I work for EyeOn. My name is Bart Geerts, and within EyeOn, I am amongst others responsible for recruitment, and next to that for learning and development, the onboarding of new people, and development and redesign of HR policies. So working within the HR spectrum within EyeOn. And happy to be here today in this setting. Last year it was live. This year it's online and working out quite well, I should say. I want to tell you a bit about EyeOn, about who we are, where we come from as a company, but also what we do in the field of data science. So just want to elaborate a bit on that and to tell you a bit more about our company. EyeOn is a what they call a niche boutique consultancy firm. So we are specialized in the niche of supply chain planning, which is the technical part of planning within supply chain, and we do that with 70 colleagues working in 3 different countries, in the Netherlands and Belgium, and we have an office in Switzerland, in Geneva. As we speak, we are also opening an office in Cork in Ireland, and next year we are also planning to open an office in Germany. One of the 3 pillars of our strategy is internationalization. So we are working for larger multinational companies, and we also want to have an international footprint in that. So that's why we are also expanding to those countries. The specialization is within forecasting and planning, and basically that entails we help our customers in forecasting what they will sell in the next period, and based on that forecast you can align your supply chain and all your business processes. The team consists of people from many different nationalities. So questions that I get a lot from the international students. Do you have to speak Dutch? No, you don't have to necessarily. Our business language is English, both at the company and at our customers. So if you're fluent in English, that's all fine. If you would like to learn Dutch, by the way, we can definitely help you in that, if that's something you would like to do. So that's a team. Good to mention is that everybody at EyeOn has a master's degree. That's a minimum to enter. Many of them have either done a PDN, also at Yachts. We have quite some Yachts alumni working at EyeOn, or they've done a PhD, or they combined masters. So in general, you can say the level of education is quite high. What we do is, as a company, we have business consultants working at EyeOn. They are more process focused. They analyze supply chains, and based on that analysis, they define bottlenecks, and on those bottlenecks, they start improvement programs. That's the origin where we came from. And during the years, we have added several other capabilities to that proposition. One of that is data science, which you can see on the right side of the slide. So where we apply data science in planning and forecasting to make to improve forecasting, but also to make sure that you have better control of your inventory management. We have a team that we call planning services. That's where we, on a monthly cycle, provide our customers with the best possible forecast or the best possible inventory parameters or end-to-end supply chain visibility. We help those companies with a service. And from an academy perspective, we train our customers in advancing their forecasting and making sure that the planners at our customers become better planners. Also, we take up interim planning roles. For instance, if the manager planning goes on a maternity leave, then we can take over that role for a couple of months. We make sure that processes keep on running. And in the meantime, we also make sure that we do some process improvements there, because that's basically in our nature to do so. By origin, we are business consultants, and during the years, we have added data science and solutions and planning service to that offering. When you look at the customers that we work for, they're all larger multinational companies. So they start at €1 billion in turnover, and we work for 4 specific industries. So that's the consumer products industry. Those are quite known names such as Coca-Cola and Jumbo, Colruyt in Belgium, and Unilever. We work for the complex products and systems industry. That's more the one-of-a-kind engineering to order industry. Companies such as Van der Lande or Dame Shipyards, where we help building their ships. Or ASML, where we help building, or we help in the planning process of building the machines of ASML. The process industry, which is more upstream in the supply chain. Typically companies, DSM, Cargill, it's the largest still family-owned business in the world in chocolate, butter, seeds, all those kind of things. But also there we work for AkzoNobel and Eastman, who are chemical companies. We work for the life science industry, which consists of medical devices. So that's basically everything you can find in a hospital or that's somewhere related to healthcare, and pharma, which is really the pharmaceutical side of the life science industry. So really medicine development. I will now focus more on EyeOn data science. So what we do and how we apply data science in planning and forecasting. What our data science team does is they transform, analyze, and visualize data for better understanding of our customers' business value. And we do that in several areas of expertise. So that's in analytics, in insights, such as dashboarding, forecasting, so predicting what you will sell, inventory optimization. Inventory costs money, but you also have to make sure that you have enough to meet your service levels. So how can you balance that in a good way? Data engineering, making sure that your data quality and your data structure is correct. And we have fast planning applications, which are planning systems that we can implement at our customers. One of the most, I just heard underline talking about data and receiving big data sets. Well, at EyeOn we get the same. We get enormously big data sets from our customers, and we need to turn that data not only into insight but also into actions. And to do so, we firstly always make sure that we visualize that data in a correct way, that we can make good dashboards fitting the target group that will work with those dashboards. If a planner will need a different dashboard than the supply chain director, for instance. So we build those dashboards from their data, from our customer data. We use Tableau or Click or Power BI to do so. And by that, we create insights to base the decisions on you should make. When you look at forecasting, what we apply statistical forecasting to predict to predict market demand. First step that we always do at customer is make an assessment of how is that forecast at this point, what's going well, what can we improve. And once we have identified those improvements, we start, we see where are the quick wins, how can we improve that accuracy, then we start implementing those improved models. Maybe we improve the model or we implement new models from our own, that's possible as well. And in that sense, we help our customer in making sure that they can make a better forecast. That's the basic statistical forecasting that we apply. We also have more advanced forecasting. Promotion forecasting, for instance, if what you see a lot in fast-moving consumer goods, that's a really promotion-driven industry. How can you predict sales based on promotions, and how can you handle the volatility in demand? That's more the advanced forecasting side. We also apply driver-based forecasting. What's the influence of weather or social or of weather on your sales? It's quite easy to tell that if the weather is fine and it's and there are holidays, that you will sell more ice cream. But where is there? Can you find other factors that influence your forecast as well? So driver-based forecasting is really important to make sure that you keep improving that forecast. And then you have short-term forecasting, typically on daily basis, to make sure that you don't run out of stock, for instance. Inventory optimizations, that's for our customers quite important as well. You can imagine that when working with larger multinational companies, that the value of the inventory that they hold globally is quite high. So we work for customers that have $1 billion worth in inventory, and they ask us to optimize that, and then we optimize those. We optimize that inventory on a global scale. And that means, for instance, divided over 75 countries with several stocking points within those companies, and then you get quite complex mathematical challenges. But also from a data science perspective, we use machine learning, for instance, to categorize that inventory. And what you see is that when you have optimized inventory for those customers, that they have increased working capital because we have reduced the inventory levels, and that in the end we have kept the same service level towards their end customer. Data engineering, extremely important in all phases that we, or in all the projects that we work in. Make sure that the data that we get in is good. It's the basis for all the projects. Really important pillar in our data science team. Fast planning. The fast planning applications that we work with are Anaplan and JDocs. What we do is that those are small, basically empty boxes in which we can model supply chain processes, and we can really fast click that onto their ERP systems to make sure that they have their demand planning or their supply planning up and running really fast. It's much quicker to work with these kinds of systems compared to the more traditional systems of, for instance, SAP or OMP, of which implementations typically cost 3 years. And we can have such a fast planning module up and running in 3 months. So that's really fast and really easy to work with. And within data science, we also have our planning services team, and everything that I just told you about is project based. So we're a consultancy firm, so we do a lot of projects. The difference with planning services is that we we have the same capabilities and same competences in that team, but it's a service, so it's a monthly cycle that repeats itself. And at planning services, for instance, we provide some of our customers with the best possible forecast on a monthly basis. So we build a model for the customer. That typically takes 3 months to implement the customer in our system, and then we have made their forecasting model, and then on a monthly basis we give them that forecast. We enrich that with data from sales and marketing and finance, and then we shoot out those parameters into their systems, and they use that forecast for their daily business. Each month we iterate on that model, and we take a look at the statistical forecast, we compare that to the enriched forecast and to the actuals, and then we see what helped to improve forecast accuracy, but what reduced forecast accuracy, and then we iterate on that. So we keep improving and evolving on the process, and we typically do that for 2 to 3 years, and then in the meanwhile, we also train our customer to do that by themselves, so that in the end they are no longer dependent on our planning capabilities, but that they have those capabilities in-house, and that they can slowly take over the planning for their own business. So what we do at our data science team is the 3 largest propositions that we have are creating the right insights, so good dashboarding to make the right decisions. We have the forecasting and inventory proposition, and so those are the 3 main domains. Data engineering, extremely important in all data science projects, and we have fast planning and managed services. When you look at our data science team, then we have 3 typical roles in that team. So that's a data scientist. Give them a big data set, and start looking for interesting patterns in there, and people that really like to work with the newest technology. We have the data insights designers, so creating the dashboards, and then not only creating the dashboard, but also being able to, in a compelling way, translate and tell that data to the customer to make sure that he understands well. And we have data engineers who are more technical, more on the automation of the processes. So we need good, robust processes, and that's more the data engineers who like to work on those kind of challenges. When you look at the tool stack that we use, we are software independent. So based on the client, we choose whatever tooling is the best fit. When you look at what we mainly use internally, that's Python for coding. We have AWS for our data storage. Then we work with DataIQ as our data science platform. And then we have Lytic as our optimization software. We work with Jira and Bitbucket for version control, and then with Tableau and Power BI for dashboarding, and Anaplan and JDocs for fast planning. So those are that's a tooling that we mainly use internally. We can also work with Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Storage. We also work with R if necessary. So we know how to work with all different kinds of software. Internally, we work with DataIQ, Amazon Web Services, Apache Spark as well, Jira, Bitbucket, and Python. And if you look at our data science architecture, and then we have our own Honeycomb platform, and our Honeycomb platform is the combination and the process of the tooling that we just talked about. Our data storage is in AWS, so our customers are directly linked to AWS where we receive our data. Then we have an automated process for data preparation, which you see on the left side of this slide. And then you have the Data IQ platform, which is a data science platform. There we do our modeling, we have our machine learning, we have there our analytics in there, and we build our data science processes in there. We can model supply chains in there and have all different building blocks to make sure that we can create the right flows. The big advantage of this is that it's extremely scalable, it's extremely fast, it's extremely solid. So it really helps us to work with larger data sets as well, and to have really high computing speed. As a report out, you have either a visualization, you have report out parameters, or you can directly link it to a planning application such as JDocs or Anaplan. When you look at the innovation that we have done within supply chain planning from a data science perspective, we have applied process mining for a biopharmaceutical company, and as a result of that, on that updated master data, we could produce 10% more finished products from the same raw materials. So that's an extremely high efficiency increase. When for a big inventory optimization project that we've done, we have applied machine learning to categorize inventory. There were 200,000 articles, stock keeping units that we should categorize. Or if you do that with a classical ABC XYZ, that's quite a big challenge to do so, and time consuming as well. So by applying machine learning, we created a decision tree which automated that categorization, and in the end is also really intuitive and easy to work with for the planners that in the end work with this. And on the last one, we work for a company in audio products, and we improved their statistical forecasts by approximately between 5 and to 15% by the use of machine learning as well. I think important to say is that if you look at the spectrum of data science, then within only data science, EyeOn is not the most innovative company in the world. I think not by far. If you look at the application of data science within planning and forecasting, we are front runner within Europe and maybe even outside Europe. So for us, that's really important, the implementation of data science to make it practical, to make it work at our customers. And then I'm perfectly within time, I see.
Yes.
Would you like to join EyeOn on an internship or a first role? Contacting me directly, just send me your email and your resume. We have several internship possibilities. We have 4 interns a year, master students, so you can write your thesis at us. A lot of those students also end up working at EyeOn after their internships. We have several starter roles available, both within our data science team as in our planning services team. So that's a bit on EyeOn.
All right, thank you very much, Bart Geers. And for all the viewers at home, if you have any questions left, we have time for 2 or 3 questions in the extra time of this session. Bart, let me ask the first question. You mentioned the example, a very clear example of the hot weather and the demand for ice cream. With your vast experience in different fields, is there a less obvious example that you didn't expect but that you could detect from the data set?
Oh, that's a really good question. To which I don't have the answer, to be really honest. I guess what's really important is that what you see at EyeOn is what we try to do is it's really easy to bring in a lot of data sets and to say we need a lot of data sets to improve forecasting. What we tend to do is to see what really works in in the end improving that forecast accuracy. And that's what really fits the pragmatic way that EyeOn is working. But I don't have the less obvious examples. I don't have that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Then we stick to a different question that is, I'm sure, relevant for everyone. What characteristics or qualities are you looking for when it comes to emails, for instance? People would like to join EyeOn. Are there certain specific characteristics or criteria?
Well, what is most important at EyeOn is that you get a lot of freedom in your work. So you plan your own agenda. We don't micromanage you. So it's really important that you can also handle that independence. So it's important for you that you like to work autonomously, and that you can also handle that freedom that you get. We really steer for results. We're a quite small company, so really low on hierarchy. That's something that you should really like, and we are really pragmatic. So we always implement. We are not a consultancy firm that gives an interesting PowerPoint and then tells the customer, and this is what you should do. We do give that presentation, but then we also implement that solution. So you should be pragmatic. You should really have a drive to deliver and to help implement that solution. So if you recognize those characteristics with yourselves, and I think on a personal level it could be a really good fit. When you look at a more technical level, we work with Python. If you're not an ace in Python, that's fine, because we can definitely learn you. If you have supply chain knowledge, that's absolutely a big plus. But also on that we can ramp you up a bit if that's necessary. So on a personality level, it's really important that you are pragmatic, that you can handle freedom, and that you really have a drive to deliver.
Okay. Final question for you, Bart. I know forecasting is not the same as predicting, but at the same time, we are now in unpredicted and unprecedented times with the COVID and your location that was shown previously on the webcam also, I think, testifies. Yeah. My question is, what does this situation do to the demand for forecast? Do you see that it increases, or that you see that people have different worries?
It's twofold. When you look at we work for the life sciences industry. You see a big increase in demand for our services, especially on the inventory level, where our global inventories stalled, and those companies want to have good insights on where they are, so they can handle to that quickly. That's really important. And on the forecasting level, and more on the content of forecasting, then you see when you have such big disruptions in your supply chain due to a pandemic, then a typical statistical forecast does not work anymore. So then what we have done, we have changed to Bayesian forecasting, which is much more adaptable to these kind of situations, where you also bring in driver-based forecasting as well. And to do that switch quickly, then companies also need expertise such as we have, for instance. So okay. I think in general, the business, we have got a small punch, but I guess like everybody had in the beginning. But after 2 months, then you definitely saw it picking up again, and we will end the year higher than we ended last year. So I think the future is looking quite okay for us.
All right. That on this positive note, I thank you very much, Bart, for your presentation as well as for your answers. And then I would like to conclude this session and also this day.